Good morning / afternoon / evening / night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome right here once again to the Quarantine Cup round number 1 on Vanille's stream this time. We are so delighted to be up this early in the United States to bring you what has been anticipated as a great match from round 1 on Haunted Forest between teams Aquilax from Australia and Team Mix from China. I am joined for this evening's game in some countries and this morning's game where I am by the one and only Mr. Putty. Putty, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Rails?
I am doing amazingly. I have been among the living and awake for less than an hour, and I would do it for absolutely no map, no occasion, no game less than the Haunted Forest. I have been waiting to cast a game for Team Aquilax for a little bit of time now, just because I have seen their ascent through the competitive Left 4 Dead 2 scene, and I think we're going to have a great 2-game series right here in front of us. But first, before we get into that, we have to mention it again because we only have one more calendar day to mention it. But the first round map here will be Haunted Forest, and these pairings are going to be squarely in favor on paper of Team Aquilax, the Australian team. But Putty, on custom maps like this, we can be seeing some very interesting events happening to both teams, I would say.
Yeah, this map is definitely a meme map, and it's definitely difficult and it will be challenging for both teams, but I'm really excited to see how it's going to.
That is the thing about Haunted Forest as well. I like the way you put that in terms of it being somewhat of a meme campaign, because I wouldn't necessarily call it competitive standard, but as we were talking a little bit in the caster war room before going live, Haunted Forest, I think, has held up fairly well in this tournament, and also for its age. This thing has been around in the competitive community for the past, 8 years or something like that, if I can remember correctly, but it seems to have adapted to zone mod well, at least from what I've seen. But I don't know, as with any campaign and as with any competitive Left 4 Dead 2 match, Putty, the game changes when you play on ping.
Yes, it definitely does.
Oh, and I think with that said, it looks as though we're going to actually be almost going live here to start. Again, Team Aquilax, starting here on the Special Infected, are going to be your higher seed. I do believe they were the 9th seed in the pre-first round rankings of this tournament. We'll see exactly what they decide to do, because we are on the Chinese server first, so Team X will have a chance to show their gameplay on Survivor side with that green ping. And I'm also happy to say that we will be including a Team Aquilax war room in this cast. So that means as soon as we see something interesting, probably on the Special Infected side, I can move Vanille from where we are on to their war room. And I'm going to be very excited to hear exactly how they play this out, because in the early rounds of this tournament, when you are a team that's had that much competitive experience, Putty, you really want to try to put your best game forward in week 1.
Yep, I agree. Okay, looks like we're live.
Indeed, we are. So we're going to be going live with the first of 2 games here for this home and away match. Team Aquilax on the special infected side and Team Mix on the survivor. And I do believe we're going to be seeing this first hit coming out early from Team Aquilax before Team Mix pushes their way any closer to that tunnel. It's going to be a smoker, a boomer, a hunter, and a force spawn coming into queue, which I do believe is going to be that spitter smoker combination. Single boom going out on the bottom right there onto Ellis. But that is about it so far for any kind of damage. Nice clear, and Putty, that's kind of what you're used to seeing on that hit.
Yeah, you don't usually accept you don't usually expect a lot of damage from her 2-2, but on Survivor side, they definitely the survivors definitely played it very.
And the other point of interest that I will say in this is that the 2 admins of the tournament are 2 core members of Team Aquilax, and on their roster we're going to be having iPad aka Patty, DDA aka Death Dead Abroad, I'm fairly sure his name is, Caution, and Dino. And who do we have for Team Mix, buddy?
I'm gonna totally butcher this, but it looks like we have Felder, Nano
Okay.
Sleep, and I can't pronounce that.
All good, all good. Those will be 2 names that we will be identifying by their character models, unfortunately, because I am not able to read that either. But Team Mix is going to shut down that hit right there. We saw a quick 3-cap attempt rocket off the top of that mountain. Double boom charger going in, not managing to land anything. And Putty, they probably have like 2 more hits before they get close to that tank.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, the tank spawned somewhere. Actually, I'm not sure. I've never played this. I've never played this tank before. But we do see a charger rocket going in and getting and Spitter didn't get anything. And it looks like Boomer and Smoker are still alive.
Yeah, it looks as though Aquilax really wanted to send that specifically when they were gonna be coming inside. Well, I wasn't too sold on how that hit was a little bit staggered. They do have that boomer and that smoker in the queue now for when the survivors push forward, but I think they're gonna run into the ravine, spawn the tank, and then maybe come back, depending on where they are. But with these later spawns, there are a couple places I think you can take it if you have no hit up to deal with, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But with at least 3 spawns in the queue right now for Aquilax, we'll see exactly how aggressive Team Mix gets on their home server. We've seen some really top home server performances so far. A couple on the away as well, but they are going to take a look to make that to their advantage on this low ping, and that's one way of doing it, clearing that hunter, but then getting double capped by the smoker and the jockey on the rest of the hit, with the jockey taking Rochelle down into that ravine. So yeah, this is gonna be a decision that they have to make, and the special infected are actually saving that boomer, maybe to stop them from running backwards.
So tank spawn. So we can see the survivors are running back, and the special infected does have a charger, hunter, and a boomer. Boomer's going in, misses boom.
So that's important now, because Team Mix should be able to take a pretty clean transition back to this tunnel, shutting down that charger. And we do have the first tank of this doubleheader match for Team Aquilax up in the hands of Dino. He's going to be working in his hittable log here, and Putty, this log is essential to doing damage in this area.
Yeah, it is, because this is an... Yes, I believe this... Yes, this is an in-cap log, and the survivors are pushing all the way back.
Oh,
are they
yeah.
looking to AI this?
Okay, so this is something that we've seen become somewhat of a trend here on the Haunted Forest, not just in this version of Zone Mod, but overall. It is very easy to just get some momentum on your side and start reverse W keying through this map in the way that we're seeing Team Mix do it right now. Dino's tank is going to be entirely AI. I was getting ready to send it to one of their war rooms, but we're definitely not going to do that now unless we wanted to see what their reaction to this was. And Putty, why do you think so many tanks get turned AI on this campaign?
It's because, I don't know, my guess is like, because a lot of these tank spawns, the tank will spawn very late, and the survivors can just like, like you said, they can press reverse W key while like reasonably shut down.
I think it's a case of, if you have the chance to do it, obviously you'd rather fight an AI tank than a human player, but I have personal belief in AI tanks' Left 4 Dead 2 playing abilities, and AI tank is going to be committing right here. Boomer already dead. Hunter's going to be taking the pull target there. AI Tank trying to rock a survivor through a truck, but his power level isn't quite there yet. He is going to be moving towards this pull target now, but no damage going out there. And Putty, this first map can give you a lot of points if you make safe room here with good bonus.
Yep, that is true. The first map, looks like the survivors are doing a good job at retaining their bonus right now. They're at like 900 something bonus, and that was something. That was a good tank fight. It was a very good take on the survivors.
They were able to get back to that open area and pop that boomer right before getting back to the box truck. They were not able to pop that double boom that goes out, although it's not going to be of much consequence with the Charger and the Smoker both dead. That's going to be a boom stumble going out onto Coach in the back there, but again, only chip damage going out. This might be a case, too, where it looks as though maybe just because... I don't know, maybe just because of the server, because of the time, or one of those kind of setups. But, I mean, Aquilax Special Infected has looked... It's looked decent so far, but it hasn't been, like, any huge hit really generated yet, I would say. I'm hoping to see that, though, because I, of course, am a huge fan of Special Infected gameplay, and I'm also a huge fan of Quad Caps Putty. Hunter, Jockey, Smoker, and a Charger. How about you tell us what happens?
Okay, yeah, sure. The Hunter has already pre-spawned behind a rock, and the Smoker, the other Special Infected, are Hunter going in, Charger not landing, Hunter lands, and Smoker does get a pull up on Rochelle right here, and here's Jockey trying to land on Coach, but got into.
That is unfortunate for Team Aquilax there. It looked as though when they rocketed in, that Charger might have had a chance, but instead to split the survivors down the center, and now I am very, very happy with this bonus if I am Team. Of course, in a two-game series, when you have two teams that are pretty evenly matched, you don't expect to see the team that's playing on the higher ping win the game on the other team's home server. But in a matchup like this, if Team Mix are able to continue this momentum, we could be seeing a very entertaining two games here.
Yep, I definitely agree. So the survivors taking this choke right here. It looks like, actually, I'm not sure what their Special Effect they're trying to do here. They do have it's a 2-2. They have a Smoker. Smoker gets a pull. Charger goes. There's a 2-boom going out right there. Charger is looking to despawn, I believe.
I'm with you when it comes to having a little bit of hesitation about what the SI were doing there. It looks as though the survivors were able to actually push out into that area prior to the SI spawning. That Charger does go for a solo death charge. I'm not 100% sure about that either. We saw a situation the other day in a match where after one of these early AI tanks, that can really rattle a team's Special Infected coordination, but it's going to almost result in a 3-cap there. That skeet by Bowser onto that Hunter, that Uzi skeet was key. That was almost a triple cap, buddy.
Yeah, I would definitely say this Special Effect really they were really in sync the way they hit up there, because I believe I believe they all went after two survivors dropped trying to get Atlanta 2-cap up there, but Ellis really wow. We see a double charge coming in, and Hunter does land shortly onto Ellis, but that's going to be map 1, with the survivors making the safe room with almost 700 bonus.
That is a nice start if you are Team Mix. You're like, alright, first map on the home server, we're going to play this as aggressively as we can on Survivor side to make the Special Infected make their own kind of play, and unfortunately the SI were not able to keep their tank from going AI when the Survivors took it back. Now, Putty, we've seen a lot of international games happen in the past few years. When you're playing on an away server, what do you feel comfortable with in terms of the score difference?
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't played that many international games yet. But I would say I would be pretty.
Usually I'd say the benchmark for what you're hoping for, where it's like, okay, if we're gonna have to play a game with anywhere between 150 and 250 ping, it's like, as long as we lose by less than 1,000, we have a chance at bringing this away on home.
Yep. Yes, I definitely agree. Sorry, I think my game just crashed for a little bit.
No worries, we're going to see if that can be straightened out as we go live with the second half of the first round of the first game here in the first round of the Quarantine Cup 2020. We're going to be seeing Team Aquilax on the away server now on Survivor, trying to work their way forward into this 2-2 from Team Mix. That's going to be 100 gang skied, Boomer gets a single boom. Spit is going to go down there only for a little bit of damage, and the Smoker really wasn't able to land either, so it's probably going to be looking for a despawn as these survivors make their way forward on that higher ping. In a home and away game like this, where one team's playing with mid-orange between like 120 and 140, with the one red player so far being Caution, it's annoying, but it's nowhere near the wonderful PowerPoint presentation of the above 250 Left 4 Dead 2 ping experience. We have a smoker pull coming out in the back right now too. Charger coming from the front, not going to land though, unfortunately for the special infected. Nice double cap does land with that jockey and smoker for a split second, plus the hunter gets a few ticks of damage, and Putty, we're gonna be seeing them moving towards that tank already now.
Yep. So the survivors just that was a pretty good take, I would say, with like was a substantially higher ping on the survivor side, and they're just gonna after shooting the head down, they're just gonna push over onto the into the tunnel, I believe. And we do see a another 2-2 coming out with a smoker, charger, spitter, and the boomer. Boomer goes in, lands a 1 blue onto. So the survivors are just we can see that the survivors are just taking the board on the bridge, just making sure they're clearing everything before they go into the tunnel.
I remember when people used to fight tank there too. People would just literally go into that like open bridge and pray that a hittable doesn't scrape across the top if the tank can get it up there. We do have a jockey charger going in from the back right there. Some spit damage is going to land along with that jockey onto DDA for a fair amount of damage actually, and that's the kind of special infected hit that you want to see on your home server. They've already gotten too, probably close to like 120-ish damage, right? Like almost 130, maybe a little bit over.
Yeah.
Again, casters cannot do math, and my ability to do math has been rendered completely invalid by the hour of day for me as well. That smoker getting her pulled back. And that might be it, aside from the fact that Charger is looking for a charge, and that man, Putty, that man just got pulled through a piece of dirt.
Yeah, that's Haunted Forest.
That's Haunted Forest, exactly. Like, so far, if that's the extent of the map's memery onto us, I'll be happy, but as we kind of discussed as well, Haunted Forest is one of those inanimate Left 4 Dead 2 community pieces that feels like it has a mind of its own, and right now we do have a tank up for Team Mix in the hands of Bowser. We missed a Team Aquilax War Room on the last half due to that tank going AI, but right now we're seeing them get triple capped with that charger landing inside the tunnel and that double cap outside. Absolutely gorgeous hit coming in, resulting in the in cap for iPad. I was about to try to lead that into a War Room, but we're actually going to leave it right here as Team Mix's tank gets close. There really isn't a huge way, I don't think, for Aquilax to AI this tank, and already the higher seed Putty is looking at needing to survive this tank to try to mitigate this score delta.
So the tank, we see another hit going in, a nice smoker pull, separation pull onto Dino, and a 1 blue landing on GDA, and the tank is in, trying to get his corner on Ella, and he does get the in cap.
Indeed he does. He's going to be pushing back into Rochelle and Coach right there with about 3,000 health. Landing that rock onto Dino. Needs to be careful now though, because his spawns are not quite yet up, and they're going to do everything they can to potentially delay that pickup, but this car is going to go flying in. Rochelle is actually going to decide to drop the pickup as the tank is going to be looking to get back in, but I'm not sure if he would have been able to get up there in time had the survivors kept picking that survivor up, but instead they are going to get card, they are going to get charged. That is going to be a punch going on to Nick right there for the in cap as Rochelle starts to back up onto the left hand side, and that is an in cap punch. Putty, what a wipe on the home server from Team Mix.
That was a very good special effective play right there. That car definitely shifted, that car definitely did its work, and the tank did a really great job at early committing and securing the early corner on DDA.
That was a great decision, I would say, from Team Mix, because they had the smoker pull onto Rochelle on the run back. The one boom went out, and it was a question of, can the tank actually catch the survivors prior to them either AIing him or getting back to a better area? That was an ideal first map, I would say, if you're Team Mix, who is the lower seed and the underdog in this game. So as I mentioned, I am your 100% objective North American moderator for this tournament, but I do love myself an underdog game, Putty.
Yeah, that was some really good. That was some really solid gameplay from Team Mix right there. And if I were them, I would be really happy with. I would be really happy with the first map. So right, let me open my spectator. 1 second.
Indeed, we are going to be going live with the second map right here. Team Mix on the Survivor side, still playing with that sweet, sweet green ping. Not exactly the level of pain that makes the server look like it's inside the same place that they live, but Team Aquilax now is going to be the one looking to rebound after that first map. This first hit for this ladder is going to be a Smoker, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter for it as well. Boomer spawns up on the landing right there, looking for something, but Rochelle gets the pick. Nano Sleep puts that Hunter to sleep with that Skeet. Spit goes down for a little bit of damage. Actually, that was like... That was like 35. That was like 35 damage.
That was actually a lot of damage from a solo spit.
I mean, I guess in that case, when you get your Boomer popped and your Hunter skeeted, you take what you can get. It's also important, I think, that that Boomer didn't land, because now the survivors are going to be able to spawn this early tank, and it's one of the earliest tanks we've seen in this tournament so far. Putty, how are we feeling about Team Aquilax War Room for this tank in the hands of iPad?
Yeah, of course.
Alright, let's send it directly over and see how they play this tank.
What a hold. Shoot it!
Going in with this.
Might be able to stop them, I thought. They're running back in. No.
No, they're in.
I'm going.
Yeah.
You can wait for Horde, wait for Horde.
All the
Should be
hordes.
some.
It's trickle. Make sure I don't kill you, caution.
We might have to go in with him.
I'm going. Yep.
Let's go. I didn't mean to jump. Found you.
Spread it.
Nice. It's a lot of damage.
Okay, so we might need these.
I try to get a fed.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the tank for Team Aquilax up right there into the hands of iPad, getting some decent damage onto the survivors as they took it back to the safe room there. But Putty, what do you think about that fight?
I think it was a really good take on the survivor side. Was there? I believe there was a boom. They did get boomed, right?
They got a single boom in the church there, and then when they went back, I think some of the horde was still like delayed coming in.
Yeah, there was. That was definitely some delayed horde, and I would say the survivors took it really well by really chipping the tank to nearly 4k HP as the tank was committing into safe.
Yeah, and that is a beautiful ski coming out right there by Rochelle of Team Mix as well. Single boom proxy does go out on the top, but that smoker gets shut down. I agree with what you said, because I think the chip there is really essential to killing that tank without slowdown. Like, I remember that spot being part of the meta back when one survivor could essentially, you know, like force push the tank down to a walk down a hallway with an Uzi. But that was nice by Team Mix to make sure they got that early chip, knock down like a fifth of the tank's HP, and then take him into a confined area.
Reloading here.
I'm also attempting to get my game to behave. As we know, not only Left 4 Dead 2, but Haunted Forest in general can sometimes be a very mischievous map, if you couldn't tell by all the included jump and visual scares. But thankfully, now that I've got my game full screen, I can see the next hit for Team Aquilax being a Spitter Hunter Jockey Charger on its way in. Charger is not going to land, but that double cap does land with the Hunter and the Jockey with a spit down on the pounce target. And Putty, I mean, Team Mix are still alive here on their home server. I think that early tank can put a good deal of pressure onto either team, though.
Yes. Even though the first tank didn't wipe, but I would say that was really good damage. That was really good damage on the first tank, and now Team Mix is being forced. Is gonna have to take a lot of hits with what they have. They're out of pills, right? Yeah, they're out of pills, and they do still have an event to take before the safe room. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. We do see a solo charge coming in. Smoker pull onto Rochelle. And a 2-boom going out at the end there. But overall, that was a very nice shutdown for Team Mix. And the Survivors too.
Exactly.
Survivors.
And I would say now, too, with that last hit dying, the most important thing I think that they want here as they find those pills is they want to keep Rochelle fast. Like, Nano Sleep's at 50 HP right now, and then Rochelle is at 44 green, so if Rochelle goes slow, that'll be unfortunate, but I honestly expect them to push this event, especially because they have the low ping here, and that's indeed what they are going to do as they push inside. It's going to be a Jockey, Hunter, Spitter, and a Charger for Team Aquilax next. There are some in-between spawns here they can use. There's the fact they can rocket off the wall in the back. There's some Horde going. But Team Mix have found their spot, Putty, and they're looking to kill everything that they can.
Yeah, we can see Rochelle's blocking, they're blocking their spawns, just clearing their commons, waiting. Oh, we do see heat coming in right here. Hunter does land on Rochelle with some spit damage, so in Jockey back into the... And Rochelle is slow right now with 17 HP, but the survivors are gonna be able to push forward with the event. They did found pills for Rochelle, so everyone's fast. Oh, with the exception of Coach. They are. This is good. Yeah, this is really good. The Horde is coming to an end right now with a single boom onto Ellis.
This is, I think, pretty good for Team Mix, because they can just basically hold S there, kill the rest of that Horde, back up out of that boom, and now shut down the pinners, except that Hunter is going to land on the pull target. Spick goes down onto nothing, however, on the other side. Smoker does get killed, and the Spitter is going to be left out, trying to wait for this Charger that just came into spawn queue to come up top. But there's really only one more hit for the Survivors to deal with, and so far so good, essentially, from them, except with that charge landing onto Nick, with that spit going onto him, and Death Spit right next to the button. That's almost an incap going out. However, since it's not, it looks as though Team Mix are going to be able to make the safe room with a 250 bonus, maybe a little bit less if they take any kind of scratch damage here from Team Aquilax. They've done a really good job of preserving that 69% damage bonus, popping that Boomer, shutting down that Jockey, getting one scratch by that Hunter, and killing that Smoker just to add the cherry on top to this round. That's Team Mix on the home server, putting the pressure onto Team Aquilax. 2,044 points for their first two maps on home.
I will definitely say that was a really good take from Team Mix, and I'm excited to see how this turns out for Team Aquilax.
Okay, so I'm gonna make an interesting claim, I guess, for this, but judging from how Team Mix are playing so far, this is gonna put some pressure onto Team Aquilax. Like, I understand the first round of the tournament's all about allowing the games to play out and see who's going to be in the winner's path, loser's path, whatever you want to call it. But if Team Aquilax wipes on this early tank, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, because then they're going to have to replicate the exact same thing on their home server, which they can do. I'm not concerned about them making the 2,000 points on Survivor, Putty, but I am going to be worried about it if they go back without having made a map on away, like even distance points.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
I would say, too, that on higher ping, I think they can try to do the same strategy of taking the tank back from the church to the safe room, but it's all about that early chip once again. And now, Team Mix are the ones who are going to try to push that out with a Smoker, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter for this first ladder chip. Survivor's gonna work their way forward here too, not really worried as much, I think, about taking that 2-2 downstairs. Now they're gonna start working their way, maybe trying to clear a little bit of that common, putting Ellis with an SMG onto the ladder first. The damage potential for this hit, obviously, without the charger and with the 2-2 is going to be a little bit different, but this Boomer actually pre-spawns on top here, knowing that the Survivors really cannot pick him or her from that top spot. But at this point, the Survivors are going to push one Survivor with a shotgun up. It looks as though Rochelle is looking for it, but now the hit's going to come from below. Nice double boom going out. Pound spit down below as well. Putty, that's a great amount of damage for that hit.
That's a lot of damage coming from 2-2, but it got 38 damage. Yes, that was but I would say that was a really good take from Team Aquilax, being able to clear the hunter really fast. And yeah, it looks like the Survivors is going to push forward to get the tank up, with still a little bit of a horde.
The tail end of that horde too, the tank for Team Mix, as you mentioned, is going to start making its way inside, and there is a beautiful triple boom up top as well. That smoker's going to die, but I expect this tank really to push the Survivors back down. Almost lands that horizontal curve rock from across the balconies there as well. Survivors trying their damnedest to chip that tank too before it gets close, but the tank still has about 5,300 HP on the Survivors. Charger spawns up in the safe room as well, stopping the Survivors from going backwards, now going in for a couple more punches, and the tank actually got caught out there because the charger went in. That's a pretty big miscommunication on the side of Team Mix, but the tank is inside the safe room, getting body blocked, but now hitting a multi-punch and is going to die. Beautiful Survivor take there by Team Aquilax, Putty.
It was really beautiful how they were able to utilize the short time where the tank exposed himself to the Survivors, and to really chip down the HP of the tank.
That was crucial. Even though they got triple boomed there, they were able to still at least pressure the tank from insta-committing on that, and then I think that was just a case of severe miscommunication on the special infected side right there. Charger is going to go in, gets cleared from the pull target, and the spit is therefore not going to do that much damage. This is the kind of momentum that we want to see from Team Aquilax on the away server.
Yeah, I would say so far the Survivors, the Aquilax are doing really well on their Survivor side, and they are gonna push out into the with two of the hits up. Smoker behind the head, looking at despawn, I believe, and a hunter, a jockey, and a boomer. Boomer goes in, gets popped. Hunter goes in, lands, beautiful 2-cap right there, and jockey onto that smoker pole. Quite a bit of damage. Quite a bit of damage going out on to Dino over there.
I honestly thought Nick was going to go down on that, but they managed to clear him right beforehand. This is important now, because if Team Aquilax can make this map, that puts them in position, I would say, to win the series, so far as they're able to score a similar amount of points in the first couple maps to Team Mix's performance here on the Chinese server. I will say that it looks as though the momentum has just swung a little bit in their favor. They were moving a little bit faster in between those past couple hits, and now they're going to be able to push to this alarm car area through this arch with only a Spitter, Boomer, Charger, and Hunter facing them, so no Smoker to really help set up in this open area, and it looks as though the spawns are going to be coming from that top, as they are wont to do on this campaign, as that Hunter gets a little bit chipped and then thinks better of his decision. Maybe, but does actually get the Survivors to trigger the alarm car with a single boom going out onto Rochelle. Charger dropping in to waiting for Rochelle right there, and does manage to land. That Spitter unfortunately went just a little bit early. Need to trust your teammates there, Putty. That was a hell of a charge.
That was a really good charge coming out on iPad over there, but because the Spitter spat early, Team Mix wasn't able to utilize the spit damage right there, and allowing the Survivors to push all the way into the event area.
They're going to have Alarm Car Horde trailing them from behind as well, but right now Team Aquilax on the away server are sitting at a nice 711 health bonus here. Ellis is going to be spawning the SI hit by standing on top of that rock. They tried to get him out of position prior to going in with the rest, but now it's just a solo jockey getting shut down by Coach after that Smoker and that Hunter were unable to get their pins. Double Boom not really doing a massive amount in terms of changing the survivors' pace, just because they have a 90 common event horde coming from the front, they have a double boom horde coming from the back, and maybe a couple stragglers from that alarm car horde as they move through these last couple chokes.
I do have a question, Rails. When survivors trigger an event with an alarm car horde, does the horde, do the two hordes add up?
Well, in this particular case, just because they had the event horde coming from the front, I'm pretty sure a lot of it has to do with the survivor's position and their relationship to spawn points. So for example, sometimes you can see a team trigger an alarm car horde and then just start holding W going forward, and unless they get boomed and slowed down, they can kind of outrun it. And I'm fairly sure that's what the survivors did here with the alarm car as well. You saw them not hang in that outdoor area, but they were like, you know what? We're still going to have common coming from the front, so we're just going to keep moving forward here, and it looks as though they're going to get the about the same amount of common as they would have had they waited. So I think they made the right decision to try to outrun that horde and then take everything coming from the front.
Yeah, this tunnel allows the survivors to really funnel the commons and to be able to clear them. So the event is over, and a hunter does pre-spawn, looking for maybe a walk onto DDA. Hunter goes in, lands on Ellis, gets insta-cleared. Charger was melted. And Jockey does shortly land onto Coach. I believe that was a quad right there.
It was, and that was why none of those pins were able to be accentuated with any type of spit there. It was all just a one after the other kind of hit, unfortunately, because the survivors got into a position where they didn't have to deal with rocket spawns, and now they are putting themselves in a position to make a huge dent in that lead that Team Mix had built on the first map. Aquilax showing that they are able to take advantage of momentum swings when they create them and when they are presented to them as well. Hunter going for a wall kick on the right-hand side there. Rochelle not quite noticing as of yet. Does get a nice M2 onto that Boomer. iPad getting the shutdown, but there's your pound spit going out. Spit going out in the back as well. And that Charger actually goes in for a stumble on iPad and is going to get almost an in-cap onto him, making this a little bit better. But Putty, Team Aquilax going to be real happy with making this map with bonus.
Reloading.
Yeah. They do make the map with over 400 bonus. Setting the score to... They did put a huge dent in Team Mix's lead on map 1, lowering the score differential to 700.
And 700 points is much preferable as opposed to the potential, I don't know, 1600 point delta that would have existed had they wiped in the safe room. But since they took that tank so well, and maybe due to a little bit of a miscommunication on Team Mix's part with that charge and that tank commit, they are now in great position to pretty much make this, if they can keep the score difference now to about 1500 points, maybe even a little bit less, I'm pretty sure they're going to be very happy to when we kick this back to the Australian server to try to win this game, because in a situation like this, when the score difference is 700 points, you might say, well, okay, that's 700 points, and because it's two teams that are going to be playing on pings that aren't polar opposites, that might not be enough, or it might seem like a lot, depending on how you see it, right? But in this scenario, I would say that Team Aquilax is just more focused even on capitalizing on that momentum, saying, even though we've been behind here, why don't we try to win this game, you know? The mentality that you do like to see from a lot of these teams in the Quarantine Cup 2020, the quarantine tournament that is happening right now as spring moves into summer, and the survivors are moving into this room, getting double capped with that Charger and Hunter landing. That Boomer did get a single boom on the Coach behind, but no real damage there, Putty, from Team Aquilax. Team X are going to try to make this as clean as possible on survivors.
Yeah, the survivors are just gonna, after taking the first hit, the survivors are just gonna push forward to the piano right. And this tank is late and 78%, meaning that the first tank is gonna be at the piano. Spit does pre-spawn up there with a charger going in.
Everything getting shut down aside from that boomer as the survivors hit the piano to trigger this tank. We've mentioned it a couple of times on different casts, but this third map of Haunted Forest is crucial for having 2 tanks and being the only non-finale map to have 2 tanks. Survivors did get boomed as they are backing up, and the tank in the hands of DDA is following them right behind. Putty, how about we send this over to an Aquilax Worm to see if he commits this?
Sure, of course. Let's do it.
Yep.
I want to one more charge in the safe room. Nice rock, nice rock, nice rock. That should be an easy down, good rock. I'm gonna go in momentarily.
Go down.
Going now. Got a charge.
Nice.
Towards the front. Oh, got cleared. Bad luck. If you can't chase him, then try playing goalkeeper. Nice. That's alright. You got about, what, 1.5k left?
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5k. We got something to work with here. You still got about first pass of 50%. Might be hard for a recommit, but I suppose you send in your SI early. See if you can land
Send
a
in the
boom.
boom.
I'll try to curb
Oh, you
there.
should.
Alright, I'm gonna try giving you early wall kick. You're probably gonna be railed by the time you get in there. I'll try.
Yeah, we're gonna need to go before he even gets in.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Let me know when you're going.
Hunter?
Okay,
Yep,
now.
I'm ready. Go.
I did.
BL. Yeah. Good damage though, you made him pop about.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first tank of the third map there for Team Aquilax, up in the hands of DDA. Unfortunately, only getting 1 in-cap Putty after what looked like a really key opportunity, maybe to even wipe from the special infected stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely a good take from survivors. I believe it was, we do have a hit coming up. Being a 2-2 smoker, charger, boomer, and spitter in this hallway right.
And that hit is gonna help out Team Aquilax's case, because that insta-pull in front is gonna send Coach slow and forcing him to commit his pill. I think Team Mix are gonna be a little bit more careful about the boomer on the run back this time, because that double boom that they ate, I think, really created the space for that first tank to do work. You had the residual horde coming in from the 2 boom, then the smoker pull going out, and the charger almost being able to get some kind of intercept on that would have set the tank up for even more damage. And now, though, Team Aquilax are gonna be like, alright, special infected coordination on the first tank was good. Now let's get an awesome hit here in the hallway with a charger and hunter landing at the same time, while the tank in the hands of Caution is going to be following them back to the safe room. And Putty, this is the one chapter of this campaign where there really is only one spot to fight this tank.
Yeah, I believe the survivors would really like to take the tank in the open area, just outside the safe room. If you block the spawns properly, the special, it would be really hard for the special.
Oh, another double boom!
A 2 boom coming. Is the tank gonna commit?
I believe he is, so I'm gonna send it right back over to that Team Aquilax War Room as we see Caution maybe go in with the rest of this double boom horde.
Need to get set up.
Yeah, just wait 5 seconds for Dino. You don't have to go for the early pull if you don't want to. Are you gonna go from below Dino or go from above?
I got some below, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. Let's go.
I think it this guy.
Let's go cleared. Let's go bunt it. Nice caution. There's a charge there too. You might be able to get out or get a rock. Up to you. Get out. Nice. Well done. Same thing, play goalkeeper, except you got a bit more. Oh, he wants to get fucking greedy. Ooh.
Close, just K your edge.
Yeah, he's got enough.
The dumbass.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I've got a boom.
Good question.
You ready?
Let's go.
Did you go for a...
How much?
Oh, he's got skated, right?
Nah, I went for a
bad
walk
luck, bad
and
luck.
he turned around and saw me.
There's bad luck. There's a lot of damage. You've reduced the bonus to about 5.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the second tank of the third map there for Team Aquilax in the hands of Caution. Doing work there, getting an initial in-cap, decommitting with under 3k HP, but Putty, I think he could have gotten a little bit more damage.
Yeah, the tank could have done. We do have a kit coming up in the. Ooh, that's a lot of spit damage onto survivors with the smoker going back for a despawn. But yeah, the tank fight was. It was relatively good take from the survivor side, but well, maybe apart from the fact that they got spooned in the same spot, but the survivors were really able to clear common really efficiently and just kill tank as the tank was committing right in.
I would say too now that with this health, they just need to really take a couple of more hits well, and they take that one real well. With that Hunter Skeet going out, Charger not really able to do a whole lot of damage with a simultaneous land there. Smoker Pull did land for a momentary second, but this is going to be Team Mix making it on the Survivor side here on map 3, it would seem, on their home server. They're going to find pills there for Coach too, and if they can just not get Shard Spat in this hallway or take any kind of stumble damage here, maybe into spit from a boom, they should be looking at making the save from what they've got right now. Double boom does land from below and makes it a tri-boom with that proxy. Spitter, Hunter, and a Jockey for the rest of the hit coming in right now. Jockey's going to land. Hunter does get skeeted though, but that's going to be a good amount of damage onto Nick with that Jockey spit in that corner, Putty.
Yeah, Nick took a lot of damage from... Nick definitely took a lot of damage from that Jockey spit right there, but the survivors are able to push into the safe with a reasonable bonus.
Yeah, and this is nice to see from Team Mix. Even though they are the underdog here, they've played very well and almost on par, I would say, with what we would expect to see from any kind of veteran team, right, playing a home and away series. They've got 3,020 points. The real question here is, can they secure a wipe on this map? That is the most important thing here. It looked promising last map when the survivors went back to the safe room, but I don't know, Putty. How do you see the special infected team approaching this open area in the best way possible? What do you think they have to do?
That's a really good question, actually. Well, obviously a multi-boom would be good for the tank, but I really do believe that the tank could potentially do a lot of damage if the special infected team is able to land a tri-cap, in this open area and just let the tank do it.
It really is a support-driven tank in that way, where if you don't get a boom or any kind of separation or any kind of multi-cap landing, the tank can only do so much in terms of kiting the survivors around. Getting an early corner unassisted would be nice, but in a lot of ways it is dependent on the SI setting up the pins first. Only pin landing on that first hit being that Hunter that got cleared for 1 damage on to Nick right there. And now Team Aquilax, they are going to try to probably get that tank spawn up before the special infected have another hit. They're then going to have to take the entire run back, probably with a boomer up, I would say, and they're going to make sure they don't get boomed, because if they have to deal with a boom horde on high ping in a tank fight in that area, they are not going to enjoy themselves, no matter what the time or score difference is. The tank is up into the hands of Mr. Nanosleep for Team Mix. That's going to be a boomer and Jockey both getting shut down. Putty, they've dealt with the first part of the problem.
Yeah, and as the survivors push into this open area, Nick and Rochelle are blocking spawns with 2 Uzis in the front, looking to chip.
This, I would say, is pretty typical from the survivors for here. I'm going to be interested to see what the special infected decide to do with what kind of 3-cap that they want, because getting a boomer to land in this area when the survivors are that far forward can prove to be a real challenge. With this tank's rage and not wanting him to take that much chip, I would expect them maybe to roll just with what they have right now.
Tank is committing from the front, getting quite a bit of chip with the support going in early, and looks like the tank, unable to get an early corner on a Coach, but charge does land onto Coach. Rock misses, and Coach does take the end cap, with the tank decommitting in a safe room with almost 1k HP. Beautiful corrupt coming out right there. Jockey coming in, trying to control the pickup, and does land onto Rochelle. Tank recommitting.
That was an example, I think, of what we were talking about best almost. They had to send the entire support hit early for that tank to get that initial corner onto Coach, but then when that tank had about, I don't know, 1300-ish HP and was trying to rock from the safe room, the tank did decide to come back out and get that rock onto Ellis. I think if they would have waited just a little bit while longer, though, that Boomer might have been able to troll the pickup even more for more damage, but getting a single down on the first tank in that area is one thing. Getting a wipe on that second tank will be a completely different story as this next hit goes out. Again, a little bit prematurely, I would say, with that smoker spawning there, trying to get the quick pull through the door, but Rochelle, aka iPad for Team Aquilax, holding that S button well, baiting out that hit. Jockey coming from the right-hand side, and a Charger spawns up now as well. I love the control of the pacing from Team Aquilax here, Putty.
Yeah, the way Rochelle dodged the tub was definitely very, very well done. And we do see a Jockey landing onto Ellis. Charger going in, misses, but quite a bit of separation damage onto Ellis right there.
If that Jockey had been able to get Ellis around that corner, that would have been catastrophic, because the survivors, I think, were split by spit. But instead, we're going to be seeing Team Aquilax moving upstairs, trying to get that next tank to spawn. DDA just pushing as far as he can before that next hit gets up. And now, this tank, second of the map, fourth of the game, is going to be up once again for Team Mix. I apologize for being unable to pronounce this player's name, but I am looking forward to seeing them do work on this tank if they can.
Yep, and a Hunter does spawn up, trying to stop the survivors. Oh, it's not going in.
Oh, this is interesting, because I think the tank got momentarily lost there as well, as the survivors and the SI are both moving back towards the safe room. Hunter is going to land for a nice separation pin right there. Charger's going to go in as well! Get the land on to Coach.
That was almost a double count. Sorry, I meant double charge onto
Indeed
Rochelle.
it was. I mean, that amount of slowdown, I think, is going to help out the Special Infected's case right here, but this tank is up on second pass, low rage by the time he gets in, and he's gonna have to stare at the survivors here or hope that he doesn't end up going AI. But now the tank does indeed have sight. It's taking a little bit of chip. It's a Smoker Boomer and a Jockey for the support hit as well for Team Mix. And there's the early corner landing. Boomer's gonna land as well. That's gonna be a down with the tank having 3k HP moving back in. Boom Survivor trying to kite him around, and it looks as though before that horde gets in, that tank is going to be killed, Putty.
It was really good take on the survivor side. I really like how the survivors were able to push really fast and get the tank up before the hit was up. That was some nice W holding right there by Team Aquilax. Some spit damage onto Caution right there, who I believe will be blackened.
I think it used to be inside.
Yeah, the survivors could have done without taking that hit right there. If they'd managed to keep going forward without any kind of interference from... Oh, okay. I thought it was me just lagging out, but it appears as though we are indeed getting DDoSed. You gotta love competitive Left 4 Dead 2. You gotta love competitive Left 4 Dead in 2020 on custom maps as well as home and away games. And then you gotta love the DDoS iPad saying some interesting things in Survivor Chat. And we got a boom coming out from Nanosleep as well. We are looking at this ping now falling with a little bit of a server hiccup there. But, you know, there's a lot of things you gotta love about competitive Left 4 Dead 2, Putty. And this is just part of the tradition, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, you gotta love it when you're trying to play a game and the server just does interesting things.
As we said, Haunted Forest being its own entity and its own brain is one part of this, but all the servers also have a personality and a mind of their own, I would say. This hit is going to be going in as well for a bit more spit damage onto Ellis. All of my models were entirely in the wrong place there because of the pause, so I'm now going to record so I can tell you what's happening instead of what I think is, but we're getting DDoSed again, I believe. My ping just went up to 455, and indeed we are going to have our second consecutive pause. That's unfortunate because now it's like, alright. If you've ever been to a sporting event, right? I mean, this is talking about life from another time now, but if you were there and the power were to go out, for example, like that's the kind of thing that you would see happening from a player standpoint and be like, okay, we have absolutely no momentum going right now because everything's out of our control. We're sitting here paused, waiting for the server to work, in the same way where it's like, if you can't be on the court, you gotta like hope you can stretch before the lights come back on. I remember that being a case a couple times, at least in North American sports. And in this case, it's a little bit hard to control because if it is just something with the server rocketing to, 450 ping, 200 above where it's supposed to be for a little while, teams are going to sit down there and just be like, okay, this is fine, but hopefully it ends at some point soon. And it looks as though it should be ending right now for the second time without a whole lot of disruption. Just about a minute of applause going in here as Team Aquilax keep working their way forward. Gonna be just about a hit and a half, I would say, too, from Team Mix prior to the survivors making it to the safe room. If they make it with this bonus here, they are going to have a shot at even winning this away game on the next map. It's gonna be a Charger, Spitter, Jockey, and a Hunter for the next hit coming in right now from Team Mix onto the survivors. Hunter getting shut down. That Jockey is gonna land for a split second. Charger not doing a massive amount of damage, but Putty, that's only a bit of chip going out.
That was only a 50-something chip on the health bonus, on the bonus right there of Team Aquilax, and now after taking a hit, the survivors are just gonna be able to hold W into this. Not quite yet. They might have to take one more hit right there. They did found pills for Coach, who's black and white. Nice M2 coming out on the boomer. Hunter does go in. Where is the Hunter? Looks like a beta right there. The Hunter didn't actually go in.
Hell no.
With iPad looking to chip the Hunter.
Yeah, Rochelle found out where that Hunter was and was like, I'm not letting this Hunter get into this corridor without first getting chipped. That Charger does land with a spit being a little bit late on top of that. Smoker coming from the doorway as well, not going to really land, and that same Hunter that we saw get chipped down is now going to go in, trying to find an Uzi pounce on to Ellis, but not able to get much of anything as Team Aquilax do make the safe room, and they do win this map on away. Well, actually, they lose it by 8 points. They lose it by 8 points, but that's effectively a win on away, we can say.
Yes. Now going into the finale with a 700-point differential is definitely looking good for Team Aquilax. If I were Team Aquilax, I would be really happy with the scores right now.
I would be as well, and I'm especially happy, I think, after the way in which they were able to turn the momentum around after that first map. I think that first map may have just caught them, I don't know, a little bit off guard. It's the first map of the tournament on the first game, first server, whatever, and after that, they've brought things back into equilibrium, as you would expect from the higher seed in this tournament, where the teams are about, I don't know, 19, 20 ranking places apart. This is what you expect to see from a team that, if the playoffs were based solely on what the admin / community thought prior to the tournament starting, would be in the top 16, and they've seemed to be mostly informed now here today. We can see if they can pull off another wipe on this finale and maybe even steal the game on away. It's still possible. It's not probable, but it's possible.
Yeah, yes. And it will be really interesting to see. I'm really excited for Survivor play on the side of Team Aquilax, because this is a massive event, and it's definitely going to be challenging to take the Horde on higher ping. We are live right here with the first opening. Actually, can't see it.
First hit for Team Aquilax is going to be that Charger, Spitter, Jockey, and a Smoker here. First round of the fourth map, as you mentioned, going live on Haunted Forest in round 1. Let's see exactly what the Special Infector are able to do. They're going to try to get this Charge Spit to land in the corridor, and they're going to be rewarded for it with a Smoker pull in the front to make that a momentary double cap with the Charge Spit. Putty, that's like over 60 damage, almost 70 damage for that first hit.
That was a lot of damage coming out of that Charge Spit and the nice distraction of the Smoker. Survivors are pressing the button, I believe, after taking a first hit right there. And it is going to be another 3-1 right here. We have 100 Jockey, Boomer, and Smoker, but the 100 pre-spawning in the...
Survivors are playing it super safe, and I kind of like the idea too. They have one person on top of that button. As that hunter does get skeeted, double cap lands with that smoker and the jockey, but the boomer is going to be the last thing to die there, hoping for that spitter or that quad. We've mentioned this static tank, Putty, and honestly, it's a tank that can do a lot of damage or absolutely none, depending on what happens.
Yeah, because the tank usually, where the tank spawns, if the survivors are in good health, they could just play really aggressively and to really push the tank before the support was up.
They can, and right now they're going to look to get triple cap in that hallway with the spit going down. A beautiful hit from Team Aquilax, getting a full in cap onto Bowser, and this is, I believe, the clearest evidence of what we mentioned in terms of that momentum going to Team Aquilax's favor.
Yep, really beautiful special effective play right there, being able to utilize that double cap and spit. Really doing a lot of damage onto Survivor. Hunter going in, but does get skeeted. And Tubu landing onto Rochelle and Nick with the smoker trying to pull. Smoker going for a despawn right there. Spitter does land a couple of ticks of free spit damage onto, but the smoker and spitter are both going to respawn.
This is a really, at least to me, a clear example of how teams can control pace or not. Right now, the Special Infected are controlling the tempo of the hits, getting a pull charge and almost a spit to go out there onto Ellis as well, but knocking another set of pills into Ellis's stomach there just because of the fact that they need to stay fast for this last ladder choke, jump down, get the pills, and then push the tank outside. It is awesome pre-tank damage, though, from Team Aquilax on the away server to see this much already pushed out onto them before they even get close to getting outside.
That was definitely really beautiful special effective play from Team Aquilax, and we do see a hunter pre-spawning inside the tunnel, looking to. The 1 pounce does land onto Ella and charge, landing onto Coach right there, with Smoker trying to get the. Oh, never mind, it wasn't a death blow. But it was a beautiful try boom, and survivors are gonna push out into the open, I believe, with no pills left.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, they're gonna get the two from the top there. I was interested for a second because if for whatever reason they would have had to commit those pills, they might have had to stay inside instead of pushing, but now they're able to drop down and push the Special Infected team outside. It's gonna be a Hunter, Jockey, and a Charger for the support hit. And how about we send it over to one final Team Aquilax War Room for this away game as this tank rolls right in.
Sounds good.
Up, I'm throwing.
Get out, maybe. Oh, a charge is there.
Well done, Dead. Well done, Dead. Oh, did you get the punch on him? Fuck. Nice, but nice.
Okay, going on. Do you want to set up for the death?
Kill the hunter.
Sack the boomer, maybe caution?
He bunted the jockey and then...
Set up for the death charge up ahead.
Shit, we got ourselves.
You should get it, caution, I think. Sack spitter as well, maybe, yeah, go.
He's in front of him.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the last tank of the away match there for Team Aquilax into the hands of DDA once again, getting a brilliant amount of damage pushed out on to Team Mix. And Putty, they really don't have a massive amount of bonus left to their name as they work through the rest of these chokes.
No, they don't. The tank, there was beautiful play on both guys, but the special effective side, the tank was really able to do work there, securing an early corner onto Rochelle, I believe it was Rochelle, and just letting us and a beautiful drop punch right there, almost getting a corner with 2k HP on Coach. Beautiful 2-cap coming out right here with a full end cap on Coach, and
Come on, get your ass up.
That could have been a quad cap very, very easily, but I agree with exactly what you said in terms of that tank. The most important part of that was the tank getting in, getting that early down, and then being able to vault off the ladder and almost get another in cap onto Coach there. That's the kind of special infected play that you love to see on the away server. And now Team Mix are going to be making their way towards the boat for their home server finish, but they do have one survivor down and a double boom going out. And it looks as though with that skeet, they are going to elect to leave Rochelle just because of that tank spawning that close. That's going to bring a total score for Team Mix's home server for the home team to 3,817 points. I don't know, Putty, it's 1,500 points, but Team Aquilax still have a survivor round.
Yeah, Yes, I'm really excited to see the Survivor gameplay for Team Aquilax right there.
I think that Team Aquilax, right, I 100% believe they can make this map, but it would be pretty challenging for them to win it just with this, as long as they have to play with Horde and high ping at the same time. It's doable because a couple of the strategies I've seen for survivors on this finale are like, you can stand at one choke point, kill the common will stop coming, and then you push the choke. And you just do that again and again and again. They could try that on high ping, or they could just play it essentially as they normally would. I'm a pretty big fan of teams staying consistent no matter what their latency is, and we'll see if Team Aquilax is able to do just that one more time on Survivor here, last half of the fourth map of the first game of this home and away series. Putty, take it away.
So, Charger Respawn in the front does land onto Coach with a... Oh, that's a big hit right there with the jockey separation onto iPad, and Ellis getting smoked inside spin. Wow. iPad finally got cleared, but that was a over 200 damage hit. Beautiful social infected play from Team Mix right there.
Honestly, of the 3 special infected that landed, the pinners there that did damage essentially, I think the most important was that insta-smoke onto Ellis at the bottom of the stairs, preventing him from getting that clear onto the jockey. And now Team Mix are going to send both of their liquid cappers there, having the boomer land first and the spitter die second, maybe shooting for some kind of quad or at least a stronger tri-cap hit as Team Aquilax try to recover from that 200 damage, as you mentioned.
Reloading!
Here's the quad attempt coming in as well. Smoker pulls gonna go out in the back. That's gonna be a double charge! Hunter lands! Where's the jockey? Where is this jockey? Getting M2'd by Rochelle, but Team Aquilax getting deleted on 2 out of these first 3 hits. iPad left out with a bunch of common left. DDA almost dead from that smoker. An absolutely gorgeous hit coming out from Team Mix, and the smoker trolls and gets out. That's going to be another troll opportunity coming out. This is the end of Team Aquilax on away, Putty. Oh my goodness.
Team Aquilax? Yeah.
Wow. What an incredible wipe. What an incredible wipe from Team Mix. The good halves going out right there. Forget about Team Aquilax winning on the away server. They have some work to do now to win this series. 3,817 points to 2,478 in the favor of Team Mix. Putty, that was a really interesting game to watch from a home and away perspective.
It was definitely a really good game to watch.
Man, that's gonna force some really tight play from Aquilax on home, because they're facing that about 1,500 point deficit. That's close to the ideal think of what I think at least of what you would want. We are going to be seeing them probably hop in the server to play the game directly afterwards. We shall see. But what are your thoughts on that game overall now that we've seen half of this match essentially?
I really liked how the momentum shifted between the 2 teams back and forth, and how even though Aquilax gained a lot of momentum towards the end of the game there, and how Team Mix was able to really utilize a really good first hit out of safe room, and to really just turn their momentum and return momentum back in their favor.
100%, and I mean, Map 1 and Map 4 were obviously under complete control of Team Mix, and then Map 2 and Map 3, we saw Aquilax do really well on their Survivor side. I think the key is going to be how well can Team Mix deal with the slightly raised ping, and will it impact their tank play? Like, if you're able to keep solid tank play on away servers, you can really mitigate a massive amount of the potential damage that you could be dealing with going into the next game. And we saw Aquilax sort of do that on their special infected side there, but I think they would really want a chance to redo their Survivor half of Map 4 on away just by merit of how it went. That being said, I do believe I am being messaged right now to get into the next server for the second half of this match. Let's see if that's true or if I am getting just completely baited by Steam Chat.
The server is up. I'm joining right now.
Excellent. Let me see if I can follow you in on that. Vanille did do a quick BRB too, but...
A beautiful 200 ping for me.
Oh, an absolutely gorgeous 200 ping going out here. And I do believe we're going to be moving from Bam Bam to the Bakehouse. Is that correct?
To the bathhouse?
Bathhouse. Okay, I thought it was the Bakehouse, but it is indeed the Bathhouse instead of the Bakehouse. Going in right here. I love the splash screen as well because it has a model wearing a Pepsi logoed shirt, but with the word peyote over it instead, which I think that is what you like to call effective advertising and hopefully not getting sued by a major international brand for doing so. That is IDTT's Bathhouse. Yeah, I remember. This is something where there are a lot of players from the North American scene, and when I say a lot, I mean more than zero, who like playing Australian pugs, right? And I've loved the Australian scene for a long time. I love the fact that iPat and Caution are running this tournament, and I also love the fact we get to see what promises to be a interesting game on this home server. I'm already looking, and it looks as though Team Mix are going to have substantially, well, maybe not substantially, but substantially higher ping, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hoping that either due to the VPN usage or just by sitting in the server for a little while longer, that falls just a little bit. It's looking a little bit more tame now, but it was already sitting at like mid 200s when we joined. So as long as it stays at this level of like between 160 and 185 for every player on Team Mix, that would be pretty normal. But that was some pretty amazing ping to see from Team Aquilax to the home server for Team Mix as well. Mel should be rejoining us at some point in the near future. For those still tuning in here, we are seeing Team Aquilax try and overcome a 1,400 point score deficit coming from Team Mix's home server, and they're asking for a server where they can have brown yellow ping. Yeah, that would make sense. I would say here, because yeah, if they can get to that yellow ping, that would definitely be more ideal. But yeah, if I remember correctly, the reason that I was able to remember the name of this server group is because this has been like the Australian server situation for the past long while, and the admins, I don't think, like, it's something where it's like, okay, don't try to pick a server that intentionally disenfranchises the other team, right? Where it's like, okay, don't pick a server where you know they're all going to have 300 when one's available, then that they can have 150, for example. But in a situation like this, where there's only a couple of servers for an entire community, essentially on a continent / inside a country, this is probably the best option that Team Mix are going to get, unfortunately for them.
Unfortunately, this looks like the only option they're going to get.
And it's also a situation where the ping for Team Aquilax is lower on this home server, but then I guess it's also a question of, okay, there are some regions that are better equipped to have home servers than others. For example, if you're on the east coast of the US, right, it's like, that's kind of the North American Left 4 Dead 2 sweet spot, I would say, just because in terms of ping, you've got short access to New York, pretty easy ping to Chicago, and then your distance between Los Angeles and, I don't know, say Paris, right, is almost equidistant in terms of latency, right? Where it's like, okay, you'll ping probably a good 90-something to Western Europe and probably also 90 to LA instead of having to play, you know, essentially an away match on New York if you were to be a North American player from the West Coast. And this might be a similar situation where I am the farthest thing from an expert on routing in Asia and routing from Asia to Australia and vice versa. But honestly, in a situation like this, I would say this is as close as you're going to get. It's not quite as ridiculous as having some players that have like 5 ping versus like 300, which we thankfully, knock on wood, have not seen so far in this tournament. But I can also understand Team Mix being a little bit perturbed just due to the fact the other team had a bit lower latency on their away server and also now on their home. This is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I mean, basically what we do is we have to cast everything that happens in the match, and of course, in competitive Left 4 Dead 2, as in any competitive esport or normal, quote-unquote normal sport, physical sport, I'll say, there's what happens on the actual game, and then there's what happens outside of it. And I will qualify scheduling, along with rules and the ability to read the rules, and situations like this to be just added elements to the video game that we've had to deal with for the past 10 years, and now we're going to get to see happen again just by merit of the fact Team Mix is 100% not okay with this second server selection, and both the tournament admins are on the other team.
There is some DM coming out in the chat right there that I'm not going to test.
Okay, yeah, see, this is the advantage where you have the wrong chat. I don't know, see, I just assume that whatever they're saying like that is the universal language of fuck this. I'm pretty sure is what they're saying.
I'm locked out of the server. Can someone, like, let me in?
Oh, you're locked out? Okay, hold on.
Yep.
We are indeed trying to free up your slot. We're not sure if there is a Chinese language stream being serviced right now or not, depending on who's in the spectator, but we are trying to get Putty back into the server so you can keep feeding us this information on some things that, when translated, might not want to be said to the admins of the tournament. Is that the feeling that I'm getting? I think it is. Also, you can try to rejoin now, Putty. I do believe we have freed the server up here on the bathhouse. Thankfully, Caution and iPat, your Australian admin duo for the Quarantine Cup 2020, are able to handle any issues on their home server pretty well, except, of course, for the one where the other team is saying that they might not want to play the game because the ping is red versus orange. That, I'm not sure how we navigate. I'm sure an answer will be presented to us at some point in the near future. I gotta say, here for the Quarantine Cup 2020, we've seen a big international presence, which makes a lot of sense right now due to the current events that are happening around the world. And Vanille now saying that she is also here means that we will probably be able to kick this live. I was going to mention as well, though, that with the influx of international teams, of course, you get more international matches. And I don't know. In a perfect world, everybody would be able to have green ping, of course, and we'd have some large island compound straight out of the Sacrifice ending where everyone could just come and play in-person Left 4 Dead 2 tournaments in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But since we don't have that, or Pacific Ocean, actually, in this case, but since we don't have that, it is kind of a game of here's how close we can get the pings to be, just because numerically speaking, you want the delta between the two sides to be the lowest it can. But Putty, we live in reality, and in a situation like this is the one Australian server I think we can use.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just unfortunate for Team Mix right there. But I do believe they are going to play this out. Actually, about what you just said, I was actually talking about like something like that to a friend. Like I was saying like it would be really great just being able to fly all of the players to the same place where they can just compete without the effect of ping, like they do in Counter-Strike. But the reality is, not enough people cares about this game.
Buddy, don't say that. We're gonna be getting... I was told by at least one admin in the community that I'm fairly sure was not sober that we're gonna get sponsorship from Valve so long as we have the correct pitch, and I'm still waiting for that to happen. So, as soon as Valve decides to drop some prize money on this game, we might be able to see some of those in-person events. But until then, we have these home and away games like the one right in front of us that is going live right now between Team Mix on Survivor side and Team Aquilax on the Special Infected. First hit for Aquilax coming in, going to find absolutely no damage because of that charger whiffing and that spitter not being able to land. And Putty, we are on the second game of a 2-game home and away series right here. Are they leaving that charger up? Oh yeah, they are. Wow. So Team Mix had a chance to kill that and are now just going to move their way forward instead. We do see Team Mix coming into this away game for them with a 1,500 point lead from their home server. We're going to be keeping the same rosters from the last game. On Team Aquilax's side, it's iPad, DDA, Dino, and Caution. And who do we have for Team Mix?
We have Nanosleep, Bowser, and people whose name I cannot pronounce, so I'm just gonna refer to them as Coach.
Exactly, and unfortunately we weren't able to pronounce their names due to the fact that we could not read them. We do have a double charge getting cleared right there before completing, and also with only one survivor being charged, so not necessarily a double charge. But we have some names and also some cross-team chat that we can't read. I mean, if there's any motivation as an away team, I guess, it's that if you have to play with this higher ping, you're going to try to do as well as you can on that higher ping, especially because one team feels as though they are playing at a, I don't know, greater disadvantage than their opponents in some ways. But honestly, Putty, there's so much in this game that comes in decision-making that ping only kind of affects when you see it in the long run.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the survivors are taking a hit in an interesting spot right here.
Reload.
I like the play, though, because since they are playing with between 160 and 185-ish ping, so the same range for all the players, you know, their routing is a little bit worse, but this is still easily manageable as opposed to, you know, I'm going to have 300 ping and I'm going to be essentially live playing a PowerPoint presentation. That's going to be a Hunter landing in the front there with a spit going down on top as well. Jockey trying to chain that pin but cannot, getting M2'd by Rochelle, getting a couple scratches back before being finally killed. So a little bit of chip damage going out onto the survivors, but Putty, if they can survive this tank, they'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I would say it was even though there was quite a bit of chip coming out on Rochelle right there, it was a pretty good take. With the Hunter being the only capper that landed.
I'm ready to see Team Mix AI every tank on Survivor side. I want to see. I want to see if they actually do that, because in this case, it's like, all right, you have this high a latency and a map that's so easy to navigate like this, where when you're playing through it and having already cleared the common, it can be a lot easier to shut down those hits that come off the top. But that double boom's gonna land, and the smoker is going to Charlie Brown that charger before any kind of charge can land. That Hunter does land for a split second in the back and does get cleared. That's some decent damage though on Rochelle from that pull and those commons.
Yeah. I would say getting blue when you're higher ping is definitely not ideal, because I don't know why. It's just not ideal.
It's not fun. It's not fun whatsoever to have an entire horde of commons surrounding you when you cannot even really hold your... you can't hold your own nearly as well as you can when playing on green ping, and then you have a bunch of common in your face to deal with too. But right now, what Team Mix are going to have to deal with is this first tank of this Australian server game for Team Aquilax into the hands of Caution. How about we send it over to a Team Aquilax War Room and see how they are doing right after this hit with that jockey landing, charger going in from the back, spit's not going to land, and now we'll go Team Aquilax as Caution works his log towards Team Mix.
They are now.
Just gonna keep in my log.
You sure
You
you
might
want
AI.
Oh shit, nice log.
Just to hit south from here.
I can't get that.
You guys
log
can...
anymore. Hey, pull
That's
one
it?
minute.
Oh no, they're already in.
Hunter's in already and dead. No, boys. Don't sack, don't sack. Let's go.
It's not.
Get your rage.
No,
You
they
can have a
fine.
bimmo.
You have very low rage.
Yeah, he knows, he knows, he knows.
He sees him.
Hold in.
Nice boom, nice boom. Good draw, well done. You might have to help me out. Oh, sorry, I missed.
They help him.
Oh no.
This is pretty miscoordinated SI at the moment.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, from that first tank on the Australian server in the hands of Caution. 2 double booms landing during that tank's lifespan, Putty, but Team Mix played that very well on Survivor side.
They took it beautifully, even with the 2 boom, and they were really able to shut down the supports when the tank was committing. And did Rochelle get in-capped? No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She didn't get in-capped. It was overall a very beautiful take from Team Mix.
It was, and I found it interesting that the Special Infected decided to send that first Smoker and Hunter when that first double boom was out onto the survivors with that higher ping. The tank had like 80% rage following them prior to getting in. We are going to see the survivors back up here and handle this hit with that Hunter getting cleared. Smoker lands not on time, and that Jockey's also going to get M2'd. This is really important for Team Mix. If they're able to make this safe room with anywhere near the bonus that they've got now, they're already carrying that approximately 1,500 point lead from their home server. They are playing motivated on away right now too, from what we can see with that tank already dead. It's just going to be so important for them not to get overconfident, not to get too lost in their own rhythm and take a lot of damage on these next couple hits.
You hear that?
It's going to spawn to the front there behind a tree as that boomer spawns to the left, getting baited and shut down though here. Again, Team Mix entirely in control of the pacing of this game. That Hunter's gonna land, Charger's gonna look for something too, looking to take the pounce target, but not quite there. And Putty, if I want to be honest right now, I think Team Aquilax is a little rattled.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying right now, but the survivors really taking his hits very well, though.
Reload.
Yeah, they are carrying a 556 point bonus to their name right now. That would be everything if they manage to hit the safe room with that and really put the pressure on Aquilax. Another boomer pop getting pushed out right there. Jockey getting cleared, Smoker as well. It's another 3-cap essentially shut down. Oh, the hype is real. The hype is real for this match right here. I didn't want to show it too much in case that would be some kind of weird cosmic caster jinx that is even beyond words and goes right from just tone instead. But barring a death charge and some kind of catastrophe on this ladder, Putty, Team Mix are going to be pushing Aquilax into a really tough spot to navigate out of on their survivor side. Single boom does go out there with a spitter, charger, and a jockey left. And Putty, there's one more hit.
There is one more hit down the ladder, and it is very difficult to take as a survivor because there is no lighting whatsoever down. It is very, very dark, and we do see the survivor is trying to clear the port by standing on top of the ladder right there, just taking their time, making sure there's absolutely no common whatsoever. Jockey comes in, lands onto Rochelle.
Oh.
Hunter pounces the Jockey's target, and a spin
This is a clown show. Yeah,
onto Rochelle.
This is the kind of catastrophe I was talking about, by the way. This is just a bunch of damage that Team Mix really could have gone without taking in this area. They're going to be pushing forward, killing the Hunter, and the Charger's going to go in there as well after the Jockey lands. They did manage to kill the Spitter, but that is some nice damage coming out from Team Aquilax. Not the wipe, however, and there are still 2 survivors with that permanent HP. That was almost a wipe, with one survivor getting ledge hung up top and the double cap down below, but thankfully for them, Team Mix are able to recover from that, and more than recover, they make the safe room on the away server here, map 1, with a total score of 800 points even. Putty, you love to see it if you're Team Mix.
I'd love to see it. I'd be really happy. I'd be really happy with the bonus right now if I were Team Mix right there. Barring, well, except for the catastrophic hit at the end before the safe room right there. I would say Team Mix took the entire. They really picked up the rhythm and ran with it. Ran with it when they were playing Survivor. And now I'm not seeing any. Okay, I see it now. Now I'm just really excited to see how Aquilax plays out their Survivor round.
Yeah, they need to play really tight Survivor here in whatever style they choose. We'll see if they decide to play it fast, play it slow, play it somewhere in between with this green ping that they've got. They're running with between 10 and 25 ping for each player here, but obviously on the special infected side, Team Mix saying, you know, no server available for orange ping, no problem so far, because they got that 800 point score to add on to the 1400 points that they have from before. This is a map that Team Aquilax, in my opinion, need to make, because you don't look for a massive difference in bonus, I'd say, on map 3, so it's do or die time for Team Aquilax, the favorite seed right here, but they are going to be taking this first hit with that smoker pull going out, everything getting instantly cleared, including that charger in the front. That is what you need to see from a team playing on their home server, facing this kind of task ahead of them, I would say.
Yes, that first was beautifully shut down, and the survivors are just going to push through the tunnel choke right into the open area. And we do have a boomer spawning up right here with a tri-cap along with it. It's boomer going in, not landing, getting popped, and Jockey, Hunter, and Spooker are going in trying to get a tri-cap right there. But,
that was nice.
That was nice. It was a momentary 2-cap, but the survivors were able to skeet the Hunter and clear the other 2 cappers in a reasonable time. And the survivors should push forward and forward, holding that W key.
We'll say it here now from more experience that I've had now that I've been in the community longer, playing in some of these international tournaments. It's like ping reveals how well you know your fundamentals, and that was a nice intercept coming from that jockey there, where essentially latency has something to do with timing, but it's certainly not everything. You want to see those types of hits from Team Mix as they're playing here on away, doing all that they can to make it happen with this red ping that they've been handed for this match. You know, they did a pretty good job right there, even though it wasn't your quote-unquote textbook, you know, 6,000 point game on home, to beat a higher seed by 1,500 points on home and now be leading them on their home server, of course, prior to a tank and with a lot of bonus in the hands of the home team, granted, but still, you know, this is a chance for Team Mix to pull off one hell of an upset here in the first round. Aquilax are actually going to push to this house on the right-hand side. This is the first time, at least in the cast that I've seen, a team elect to go here. Smoker pull is going to go out on the side there. Charger does get melted. Jockey going in. Along the Hunter, nice double cap. Once again landing, but only momentary due to those quick clears there, Putty.
Yeah, it was definitely some really great fast clears from Team Aquilax right there. I actually, I agree with you with what you said about the house right there, because I very rarely see teams push to the right. And Boomer gets shut down during tank, and survivors are holding that reverse W key.
They're going to be taking this tank all the way back into that tunnel. Tank up for Team Mix into the hands of Thouser here, and he is going to be working his way there, just punching the air prior to getting this log. We are going to see a support hit go in, Spit going down for a nice delay, actually, keeping the survivors outside. Jockey and a Charger going in as well. Charger is going to land into the front. Tank is right there with a hittable. He has a chance to get the down onto iPad and does actually get it. A huge hit coming out from Team Mix right there. That charge forward was everything. Tank landing a rock. Bowser pushing back in, going for this hittable, whipping it across the map once again, not getting the land, but looking for the kill onto iPad. Hunter landing in the back right there. Tank is 100% committed to this kill, but misses a hit onto a survivor there, gets a punch onto Rochelle. However, boom lands. Tank is going for the huge play, gets a hit onto Caution, goes back in, gets a hit onto Rochelle. What a splendid tank and a splendid would-be wipe with a 34 HP tank decommitting, and iPat is dead, Putty!
And wow, that was a beautiful round for the special infected right there, being able to secure a kill onto iPad, and that charge was really good.
That charge was incredible. This is a situation where there is still a survivor down. Jockey going for the troll, not going to get it, and now that was almost a wipe. It's a death. It's a beautiful position for Team Mix. They are going to add to their lead on the Australian server here. Putty, I'm feeling it. It's not quite an upset, but it might be on the way.
Okay, this seriously.
We've seen such action here on Haunted Forest from this first round of matches as well. There was a close to upset yesterday in the Team Wrecked By versus Teletubbies game. This is now officially the closest that we've seen. Charter is going to go in from the side right there. Everything being shut down. Aquilax know that they are being pushed into a really tight spot. It is essential that they make this safe room with these 3 survivors still alive.
I agree. At this point in the game, I believe Team Aquilax is going down 50 in bonus, but this is a pretty long map 1. So what they want to do is they would really want to keep with the charge whiffing the death charge and Smoker being instantly. A beautiful shutdown by Team Aquilax.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Aquilax maybe even try to push, like, right outside the safe room here. They gotta be careful, though, because they're gonna time it to where the special infected are going to have maybe just a straggled hit coming in from the back, and the survivors are jumping into common here, too. Hunter's gonna pre-spawn on the wall there. No chance the survivors see him due to the darkness down here. Boomer is spawned up as well. They're trying to shoot the Boomer, but haven't been able to find it quite yet. Charger is gonna get chipped. Rest of the hit running in. Nice skeet onto that Hunter coming out. Nice triple boom, but there are no pinners, and this is really important now because Team Aquilax are going to make their way into the safe room, but now, with Finale included obviously, they only have a few maps to make up what is now over a 1,500 point deficit. They're going to be trailing on their home server 800 to 661. Putty, that tank from Team Mix was incredible.
It was incredible. It was really incredible. I'm actually at a loss of words right now. It was a beautiful hit, beautiful support, beautiful SI coordination right there.
Yeah, and this is a real unfortunate scenario for Team Aquilax, right? Obviously, the tournament's one of the top 10 seeds in the tournament going into this first week. You know, they're looking now at having to reverse this game. If they fail to wipe Team Mix on this tank, and Team Mix are able to get at least the distance points out of this map, that's going to put just an absolute, like, almost, like, I don't want to say it's like elimination or playoff level pressure, because it's not, but it's really, really something that Team Aquilax looks to avoid, because if for this first week this result holds where Team Mix upset Team Aquilax, then Aquilax is going to drop to 0-1, right? And then they go and they play another strong team that's 0-1, or they could play a weaker team, and they could just be running around, you know, in the bracket with a caliber, at least pre-tournament, that people thought was going to make the playoffs. And I still honestly expect them to. They've been one of the teams over the past couple years from the international scene that's impressed me the most. I am shocked to see them behind right now, honestly. But I also have to give all credit to Team Mix, because Putty, from what we've seen over both servers so far, Team Mix have earned their advantage.
They definitely have, and it is a lot of pressure onto Team Aquilax right now, and I'm excited to see how these maps turn out, because you never know, like, you never know when the momentum's gonna shift.
Really don't, and there is another chance for that momentum shift right here as Team Mix start on the survivor side. First half, second map, Australian server game. of this series right here. Once again, Team Mix now defending what is about a 1,600 point lead cumulative from both games. It's going to be a ladder hit with a Charger Jockey from the top. Survivors are going to play this as slow as they want because they know with this momentum on their side and with the higher ping, they have a real chance at controlling this game. And indeed, that's going to be a double boom going out on to Rochelle and Ellis. Looks as though the tri-cap is going to wait here, but Putty, now, this is what you love to see from a team on their away server. They're doing a great job of controlling the pace right prior to that Jockey landing, but that Charger was unable to land the intercept. That looked real dangerous, but Team Mix walk away with only having taken 15 points of damage.
Beautiful take from Team Mix right there, and they are going to be able to get the tank up before the support. Before the hit is up. We do see a Hunter trying to get skeeted by Rochelle.
Oh, Boomer from below is going to get a single onto Ellis as well. It's in the hands of iPad, and the Survivors are going to be seeing a pull land here onto Rochelle. Jockey in front as well, getting M2'd. Rock goes in, does not land. How about we take it over to a Team Aquilax Special Infected War Room right now because they have to make something work like that curve. Rock landing too. Go, Vanille, go!
Hold up. I might drop soon. But I'm about to get to fucking... Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
Do you want us to stop them from running back?
No, I'm gonna have to commit this tank pretty early.
Yeah, if you can stop him at the ladder, you might be able to do something.
Yeah, if you can.
Running back early, no
I don't think they went back early. That's okay.
He's self-charged safely. Yeah, he's not really close enough.
I wanna go, yeah?
Yeah. Let's go with him.
Yeah, help him straight away.
Nice. Make it clear.
I'm really
Cover,
low.
cover.
I'm really low.
Nice.
Just get out there, get out.
Take him outside there, yeah. Nice.
That is the wipe going out on the home server. Map 2 right here. Team Aquilax with a tank that dies right as the Survivor team does. Wiping Team Mix inside the safe room with a brilliant triple cap. Putty, we might be in the first round of this tournament, and this might be the week where there are supposed to be the most blowouts or largest score deltas, but we are being handed a gift of a match to cast right here.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful SI play there, right there by Team Aquilax, being able to almost simultaneously land the they did simultaneously land a tri-cap with a Survivor being cornered by a tank. And even though Team Mix was able to chip the tank down to below 50% HP before the tank reached the safe room, it was a beautiful wipe.
That is unfortunate for the Survivors as well, because the advantage of that tank can also be the detriment depending on where they are, and that is having all the special infected coming from one direction. They were able to follow in right behind that tank, essentially, because the tank, as you mentioned, was down to about 3,000 HP before he really got in. And then from there, that support just made everything really work. This is now going to be Team Aquilax trying to make something happen on the Survivor side, too.
Tri-boom!
Nice double boom! Tri-boom, as you mentioned. Double cap going out. This jockey's going forward. They need to clear that jockey onto Coach. And indeed they do, but not before just about 40 damage have been pushed out. Team Mix still defending this 1,700 point advantage that they've got, but they need to do work on the special infected side right here. We are at the point where every tank and essentially every hit is super important for both of these teams due to the amount of work that Team Aquilax still have to do. They put themselves in the position to do it, but now can they deliver? The tank is up for Team Mix as well. Boomer spawns up and does get that all-important single boom right there onto Nick, maybe forcing the Survivors backwards, but there's going to be a hit here first that Team Aquilax have to be careful about. They're still looking for that early chip, but Hunter is going to land in the back to get the Survivors maybe to back up for a split second, but this tank is being real careful, playing it so that no chip is taken prior to getting close to those Survivors, because that is the way that you actually do damage here. You cannot have a super chipped tank from the church going towards the safe room expecting to get any kind of wipe. Also, the tank, though, is going to drop down, avoiding some of that chip, now climbing up the staircase instead. Probably going to have the special infected decide to hit the survivors right before they drop back down. The smoker is pre-spawned. Tank is at 5,000 HP, working its way in. They're setting up the charger from the back. Once again, charger is going to spawn up, goes in, and it is not going to land this time. Tank is only going to have 2 supports going in, going to get that first punch on the Alice, but this tank is going to die. Putty, that is what Aquilax needed.
That is that. I agree. That is exactly what Aquilax needed, and it was beautiful survivor take. Just being aware of the charger spawn and like behind, and just being able to melt the charger as it comes in, leaving the tank up with only below 5k HP and only 2 support right there. It was beautiful, beautiful survivor play from Team Aquilax, and now they're going to push forward into a single move coming out on Coach.
That same strategy, I think, Team Mix tried to use on their home server as well. We do have this Hunter spawning down below, just trying to get any kind of separation, maybe? Or maybe just playing with the infected ladders outside as the spit goes down onto nothing. But that charger from behind is one of those high-risk, high-reward strategies, because as we saw, if it gets shut down, that tank is not going to have an all-important third support for its commit into the safe room area there. Thanks to the low ping, and I would also say getting that amazing chip beforehand, survivors were really able to take that without a whole lot of incident, but we do have a hit coming in right now. It's going to be that quad attempt as survivors push into common. Jockey going in, Hunter's going to land, double cap going in, Charter's going to land too with almost a pound going out right there, but due to the fact that Team Aquilax are able to react as quickly as they are, not a massive amount of damage being pushed out, and Putty, they're going to try to really take a chunk out of this 1,700 point deficit that they've been doing with prior to this map. They've already erased the deficit on the home server, and now they're starting to eat away at what they had to deal with from Team Mix's home server as well.
Yes, beautiful work being done by Team Aquilax right there, just pushing onto beautiful empty coming out on the Boomer. Boomer's not going to land, and a Hunter and Spitter and Jockey are left. And there, I see that the special infected are just climbing up the ladder onto the tunnel right there, maybe looking for rocket spawn. And the survivors are definitely playing this very carefully, just taking their time clearing commons, making sure there wasn't a hit. They didn't take a hit at the tunnel. I do believe the special infected there are going to, as the survivors are pushing through this narrow area between the house and the hedges.
Yeah,
Jockey and Hunter pre-spawn.
This is an example of the survivors, unfortunately, though, managing to bait the special infected out, at least to a large degree there. I was hoping that we would see them wait for more survivors to get into a smaller amount of space there between the fence and the side of the house, maybe. But instead, Team Aquilax now are going to be able to push forward and get this event started. And as we kind of mentioned before, now the control of the pacing of the game is entirely in Aquilax's favor. They also are carrying just about a 900 point bonus going into this Gauntlet event, picking that Hunter as well. Boomer, Smoker, and a Spitter left, and indeed, the frame lag here can be quite real and memey. Goes down onto nothing there, preserving that 900 point health bonus. Our Team Aquilax, they could really almost even the delta going into the next map here and force Team Mix to really play a hell of a couple special infected rounds to wrap this game up in their favor, because right now Aquilax are fully on that comeback trail, killing the rest of the common here, but with a quad cap awaiting them at the end of the hallway.
Yes, the survivors are definitely playing this very carefully, just making sure they're blocking every spawns possible and just taking the horde, clearing every common as they're pushing out to take this incoming quad cap right here. And the special infected are also taking their sweet time, setting up above, looking for a rocket spawn right there. And Coach and Rochelle are very carefully baiting, trying to clear the residual commons left in that area.
This is essentially a one hit and then safe room scenario. Maybe if they send it right now, they could get like a charge spit at the door, but they need to make sure that this hit does damage if you're on Team Mix. It's a Jockey, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger, as we mentioned before, for the quad cap, but Survivors Team Aquilax on their home server playing this as precisely as they need to here to continue their comeback trail in this map. Only one survivor bleeding as well. Here comes the quad cap. Everything's funny coming in. That's going to be a double cap landing with the jockey and the hunter, and then everything does get cleared as that smoker pull gets a pull onto Coach for a split second, but that obviously not the quad cap that Team Mix were looking for, and Team Aquilax are about to put a massive dent in this lead.
Yeah, the hit did do some damage, some reasonable damage, but overall it was a beautiful shutdown by Team Aquilax right here, and right now they're going to be able to push into the safe room with virtually no hits, securing an over 800 bonus right there, putting a huge dent into Team Mix's lead right there.
Yeah. That is the round that Team Aquilax were looking for. 2,105 to 900 here on the Australian server. And now it comes down to map 3 and 4. And this is close enough to where it's like, okay, 1,205 point game here. It was just about 1,400 coming from the other server. We may need to do some mathematical calculations, either with our own brains or assisted by machinery, to see how close this is going to be after this map. But Team Mix, you know, they had a chance. They really had a chance on map 1 of this Australian game to get that triple cap or that wipe with the tank after the huge charger play. And when you're playing against a team of Aquilax's caliber in a home and away match, you need to maximize every single opportunity that you get. They managed to go into map 2 with a lead, but then that early tank wipe has just completely turned things around for Aquilax now, and due to the fact that Team Mix did not capitalize when they had that chance on map 1, they're going to be pressed now to recreate a situation where they could potentially stop the momentum that Aquilax has gathered over map 2.
Yeah. I'm excited. Oh, I've said this once before, but I've said it a lot of times before, actually. I'm really excited to see how Aquilax play out this map 3, because if they do it right, they would be able to get another massive lead onto on Team Mix right there, because this map, because the tank is very highly support dependent, and if the supports aren't able to land, the tank really can't do much.
Indeed, that's going to be the first hunter of this map, landing with a couple of the other SI trying to stack damage on top of it, resulting in only about 15 for Team Mix on that first. Static tank is going to be the first tank, I believe, that we see here, and Aquilax now, at the time of pressing that button, are pretty close to having completely erased that score delta from the Chinese server. We are going to be seeing Rochelle hitting the piano, triggering this tank coming up right now for Team Mix, as they also have a run back hit in the spawn queue. The Spitter's going to go in there, try to get some kind of delay spawn. The tank is indeed up, and it's a hunter and a boomer for the rest of the hit for Team Mix here. Looks as though Nick is going to do his best to block that, but the boomer is going to spawn from the ceiling, landing a single boom there onto Coach. Survivors have to be super careful right now, because this tank could decide to commit with the rest of this boom horde. There is a hunter up as well. We will see what Team Mix decides to do. It looks as though the tank is going to think better of committing with that horde, but now is going to start moving its way closer to the door. SI support already spawning in the back as well, trying to make as much noise as possible, and the tank is in. Early caps not going to be set up, however, until that hunter lands. Tank is going to land a rock onto that survivor as well, punching DDA into that corner. Charger is up too. Nice punch going out. Charger is going to land. Rock attempt coming in, landing onto Coach as well. Nice damage from this first tank so far. There's the in cap on a DDA, and that was a decent take there, Putty, but I also like how Team Mix got that damage.
Yeah, they were really able to utilize that early cap right there onto Rochelle to secure in. Well, it was, yes, to secure that in cap, and the Charger really followed up on that attack and was able to secure the in cap on the DDA and additional rock damage onto.
This is important now, too, because Team Aquilax are going to try to work their way even further forward with that green ping, getting a bait onto that Hunter's wall kick as well, right through this archway. And I would say now that Team Mix are probably on the back foot. They're heavily on the back foot because they're playing from behind, you know, with ping on a server where they really need to get either a lot of damage or or a wipe somehow. This is going to help their case just a little with that boomer landing plus a couple of ticks from that jockey and maybe a scratch by the hunt. But Putty, they should manage maybe one more hit before they actually get this tank spawn up.
Yeah, the survivors are just pushing. They took that hit really well right there with iPad and with the team. With Team Aquilax just really baiting this special deflector right here. And we do have a couple. We do have a full hit up right now with DD holding W and a jockey landing onto Kasha right there. But that is going to be a pop on the boomer, and his smoker looking for a separation pole, but gets cleared instantly. And the survivor is just gonna holding their reverse W. Oh, a turret does land onto Caution, getting almost a slam right there. And the survivor is just gonna push their reverse W key back into the open area to take.
Sleep here is going to be following from behind with this tank. It's going to be a hunter, a jockey, and another spawn coming into queue, but he's actually almost. He's not almost AI. I think he actually might just be AI, depending on how fast he gets in here, because I think he took a little bit of a prolonged route there as the single boom does land. Tank's going to be really trying to work its way in prior to this survivor team being able to get any additional LOS, and indeed now they're going to be playing for the chip. Tank down to about 5,000 HP. Hunter's going to go early. That's not what Team Mix were looking for, to say the least. Nanosleep getting that punch onto Coach, going to get the down onto iPad, but that is, at least from what we can see, not quite going to be the wipe, but that is going to be a punch landing onto Ellis after a whiff from that smoker pull in the corner, and that's the important part for Team Aquilax. They are indeed alive, they have one survivor with high green bonus, and they have damage bonus to protect Putty as they make their way through this map that is now tankless.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful take on Team Aquilax right there. Charter's not going to land, and Spinner spat onto nothing right there, and the survivors are just going to utilize that and push. Beautiful shutdown on the boomer, and maybe just push past this choke point right here with only one spawn up, being a hunter.
Yeah, and this is super unfortunate for Team Mix because they had all that momentum from map 1. At that tank wipe on map 1, like, they really had a chance to assert their dominance on Aquilax, but Aquilax fought back, made the safe room with 3 survivors, fought back even harder map 2 with that tri-cap wipe and then huge bonus, and now they've killed both tanks and are facing a special infected team who I think rightfully is a little bit staggered just because of what's been happening here. Jockey not gonna land anything in the back. Hunter goes in, gets blown out of the sky by DDA, and this is the Team Aquilax Putty that I watched over the past couple years in the competitive scene. When they get on their roll, they are fierce.
They are definitely a force to be reckoned with. And with that beautiful shutdown right there, the survivor is going to push forward, maybe taking one last hit before pushing into the safe room. And it's going to be a charge spit with Boomer and Jockey.
He's going to look for a boom from below, getting the single boom right there, and the jockey's going to get M2'd. Charter's going to go in as well, but nothing going.
Charger, I like how Team Aquilax just melted the Charger as it was coming in, but a little bit of sit damage coming out onto iPad right there, and I do believe that is it for this map, with Team Aquilax making the map with over 500 bonus. Overall, a really beautiful map, beautifully played by survivors, and that's going to put that bonus is going to put a lot of pressure onto Team Mix right there.
It really is, because now, if you factor in the score from the other game, of course, we did not set scores prior to sending this game live. You know, it's essentially 3,353 to 2,300, so it's a 1,000-point lead overall in this game now. If Team Mix aren't able to make this safe room with a comparable bonus, then they are going to be taking a loss in the first round of the tournament right here to Team Aquilax. And honestly, like I said, it's been a story of when you have a home game and an away game, momentum just works in such interesting ways. Here, we're going to need to see a heck of a Survivor round for Team Mix, because they have not played Survivor since that 3-cap on map 2 that at this point feels like ages ago after Aquilax's 2 Survivor rounds in a row.
It definitely does. And we see that the special infected are a very interesting play right there, because they're not rocketing from the safe room. The move outside of safe room, and I actually very interesting play right there. I'm not sure I've seen.
This is gonna be essentially a okay, we have one hit before tank call from Team Aquilax, I would say. Just because I guess they figured trying to land a charger without a smoker support rocketing off there might not be the way to go. Change it up a little bit, force the survivors to go forward, and then maybe get them to back into a charge spit. I like the idea here, and that jockey is also, I do believe, in the ceiling, so that's going to be a jockey dropping from that point as well. Nice design here by the special infected, I would say, because we have that hit coming in. Pre-spit went out, but is not quite going to land. A little bit of spit damage onto Ellis. Okay, if they had landed the charger, probably would have gone a little bit better, but I'm a fan of teams trying to find inventive ways to score damage on their infected hits, and I'm also a fan of seeing what they do on tanks, and we have one of those right now for Team Aquilax into the hands of DDA himself. Vanille, let's take it over to a Team Aquilax Worm and see how they play this tank.
I reckon a 3 cap's better against this squad.
Yeah, it is.
Save the hunter. Dad, do you want an early pounce?
I might get charger.
What's early chip?
Got him pretty free there.
Yeah. I might come from front last time because I just got bunted early on from the safe room door. What do you get? Put in the safe room. Nice, nice dead. Put in the safe room.
Left side, hunter. Left side.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna pre-spawn here too, so they look at me.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep.
Pre-spawn.
Go on.
Oh my god, what?
Dead,
Okay, got him.
Let's go, caution. Nice dead. Easy. Oh no!
Fuck, I got shot from so far away.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first tank of the third map here on the Australian server game for Team Aquilax. Getting a decent amount of damage to DDA, getting those punches onto Coach after we think Coach was looking at one of the special infected spawns in the back that did die, but not at the expense of being traded for Coach's permanent health. But I do believe that we're going to be seeing this Hunter land a wall kick with a spit going down on top of that. Smoker getting a bit of damage too, and we can see here on the home server for Team Aquilax that they are milking every single possible hit for this damage. For Team Mix, you gotta be disappointed at this point because you're playing on the back foot and your 1,400 point lead that you built on your home server has, of course, been evaporated here. It's still a winnable game for them by any sense of the word, and in order for them to continue that kind of hope, they have to have this tank get shut down, but it's in the hands of Dino for Team Aquilax with a single boom landing there as well. Vanille, once again, let's send it over to a Team Aquilax Worm and see how they play this second tank of this map.
Is it worth going for the early hunt again because they've got their eyes on it.
Yeah, they're watching that.
Yeah, they're literally premeditating a hunt for an early SI spot.
A lot of hold coming in actually.
If you hug one side when you come in, you might be able to get the early.
I might just go in with this, there's a lot of hold behind me.
Right. Do you want me to early pull for you, Dino?
If you can get it.
Alright. I'll just make noise instead, so hopefully it can focus me.
I'm gonna pull on the left, okay?
Yeah. Give her to hug the right side?
I'm pulling the left, okay?
Nice.
I can't get him.
It's okay.
Help the swing.
Let's go. Oh, bad luck. Nice score. I got this guy here, Dino, if you just want to jump over the... Nice! Well done. Take him into the safe room. Might be able to park the bus there. Oh, bad luck. Good damage.
We can just get spit charged.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the tank in the hands of Dino for Team Aquilax, managing to get that last in cap there onto Nick in the safe room. And Putty, Team Mix are still alive right here. Well, it's a deceptive scoreline right now because it's really 3,353 to about 2,700, if not a little bit more. So Team Mix, because they're not dead, still have a reason to move forward in this map, but taking a 3-boom right there is going to put them in a bad position because that's a double charge going out with a spit on top of that, and that is annihilation coming from your number 9 seed Aquilax onto Team Mix on that hit.
It's a big hit right there, and with Nick being black and white, now all but one survivor is fast right now, so yeah, it's gonna be really challenging for teammates right there trying to make safe room with that giant separation from Rochelle and a charge coming in, securing the end cap onto Rochelle.
Like to see you like
I'm at a loss of words right now. With a nice triple boom. That's a very nice move right there coming out onto Ellis, Rochelle, and Nick.
As so often is the case in these Left 4 Dead 2 matches, especially when you have it in a international tournament like this where you see high-level teams, it was a case of momentum shifting here for Team Aquilax. They managed to get complete control of it as of that tri-cap wipe on map 2 on this server. From then, I mean, at least to me, Team Mix have not looked anywhere near as together as they were on their home server or even on the first map of this away game for them. And that's why I think, combined with the latency, you're seeing as much damage pushed out onto them as we are, just by merit of the fact that, of course, it's harder to kill things when you have higher ping, but it's also harder to keep your pace and keep your control when the team you're playing against has played an amazing game, regardless of latency. There's a double charge landing as well. Spit is going to get picked, however, before landing. Hunter lands onto Ellis's face, and Team Mix are limping their way towards the safe room here.
Reloading.
With that limp, they are only carrying a 2 health bonus here, so Team Aquilax is going to be helping their case moving into finale as well. It's going to be a very tight game going into the finale, and as we saw on Team Mix's home server, they are capable of getting a very early wipe onto Team Aquilax as well. So Aquilax, even though they've done a great job bringing it back, are not quite out of the woods yet. It will come down to their survivor point start on map 4. As this hit does manage to go in, Charger does manage to land. The spit is going to kill off Nick there. Pull in the front did do a little bit to distract and also help set that up with the smoker now just trolling, but Team Mix are going to try to milk every single point of distance out of this that they possibly can, knowing how tight a game it's going to be going into finale. Hunter Boomer Scooter too. This could be a death.
Yeah, they still have 1 bonus right there, but I'm pretty sure if they do make it, it's gonna go. Beautiful Uzi ski coming out there, and the Boomer did spawn behind the door right there. And a 1 boom going on to Jockey's Crash onto Rochelle. Securing the end cap right there.
Rochelle there is now also going to be put into black and white range, so that's going to be a in-cap going out onto Mix. Charger gets leveled though. Jockey manages to land onto Coach, and Rochelle does get the clear before that death is pushed out, but there are more SI spawns able to troll right here. There is the death onto Coach from the Hunter. Rochelle trying to get this Uzi skeet as well, just absolutely spraying at that Hunter with these bullets right there. Eventually getting the skeet after 5 shots that landed, we should say. But that is going to be Team Mix again, showing their resiliency and working their way towards the safe room here. Spit doing damage in the back for the kill, and there is the end cap directly at the door. So on this home game, we have a total score of 3,353 to 1,578. Throw on, we're calling it 1,400 points from the last game, so in reality, it's 3,353 to about 3,000. And I'll say again, we didn't get to see a massive amount of Team Aquilax's survivor play on this finale due to the amazing quad cap that Team Mix hit right after they were essentially out of the safe room, like right at the start of the event. But so long as Team Aquilax can prevent that and actually make it to this tank fight, they should be in a solid position to take this game, I would say.
Yeah, definitely agree right there. But see, I definitely, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the survivor play right here between Aquilax following the catastrophic wipe on their away server right here. I'm excited to see how they play out this map. Now Now they all have green paint right there. Smoker Pool going on to Coach and getting instant clear. Hunter decided to hold his spawn right there. Not going. But overall, a very good take from Survivor side, taking only 7 damage right there. They're now able to start the event.
They are going to maybe have that quad again, except they don't. It's going to be that boomer into the queue as that last spawn versus the smoker, and we are going to see that single boom go out here with the rest of the SI hit coming in from the top. That's going to be a Hunter landing onto Rochelle, who was on top of the light pole, plus a charger punch for good measure as that jockey gets a few ticks of damage too. But no quad as of yet, and Team Aquilax are now going to look to make short work of this map going forward. They have the green ping, they have the momentum, and they have the ability to really try to control where Team Mix are going to hit here on their special infected side.
Reloading. Reloading.
This Hunter, Boomer, Smoker, and Spitter for the next hit as well, with that Boomer in the front immediately being popped, Spit going down onto nothing, and now the last 2 pinners saving. But Putty, with each step taken by Team Aquilax, they are getting closer to completing this comeback.
Yep, they are, and I do believe that Team Mix is trying to sack for the quad right now, but with the spawn order in hand, I'm not sure they're gonna get it. And I'm wrong, they do get it. But they do get the quad count right there, and Aquilax is going to take the hit. Charger gets melted, Hunter goes in, landing a beautiful 2-cap onto Ellis and Coke, and a single smoker pull right there onto Nick, but getting instant clear. Overall, not that much damage onto Team Aquilax.
They had to make sure that Charger died on the Survivor side, and that's exactly what they did. That Charger barely even hit the ground before it was a ragdoll, and unfortunately, of course, when playing Special Infected and you're trying to land a quad cap, you can't have everything else go in too far before the Charger, because everything kind of needs to land at the same time or close. But Team Aquilax able to react to it a lot better, a lot faster, and of course, with a lot less ping on their home server. That's going to be a spit spread, however, onto the side of the wall there where Caution was standing, with a little bit of a charger stumble back into it, resulting in him having to pop his pills. There are still 2 sets waiting for them up ahead, and Team Aquilax will be able to push outside on this, but it's in the range of do or die now for Team Mix. They really gotta make this tank get a wipe with those 2 hittables, neither of which in cap, as we saw before. And if they aren't able to do it, it's gonna be Team Aquilax taking the win here in round 1. The last tank of the game is up now for Team Mix as well, with Team Aquilax getting pushy on the Survivor side on their home server. And Putty, they have this tank right where they want them.
Yeah, their Survivors are really pushing the tank aggressively, and there really isn't anywhere else for the tank to hide. And it is very difficult to get a curve rock, especially on a higher ping right there. And this tank is getting shipped down to 5k HP before committing, with his fairly smoking pull missing on Rochelle, and a hittable not landing. Oh, it does land on Rochelle, but as Rails has said before, it does not in cap. And beautiful separation hit right there, but this tank smoker does get cleared, and Rochelle did get the popper pills with only 1 incap going onto Rochelle, and tank with only 500 HP right there. And that is a dead tank right there. Beautiful take by Team Aquilax right there. And I do believe they can... They still have a massive bonus right there. They still have 530 bonus, and I do believe they can keep the majority of it, pushing into safe room right there. And Charter did land onto Nick and Spitter. Spat onto nothing right there. The hit was staggered.
That was an instance, I would say, of that tank. It had about 4,000 HP once Rochelle was down, and then due to the fact that the space that the Survivors were fighting the tank in was so open, essentially there was nothing left for the SI to do, unfortunately, aside from a hittable hit. But with no in-caps going out on that, there was no way of them replicating the magic that they hit on map 1. But we are going to have a tank spawning. It's the goalie tank as well. This is seen as normal in competitive Left 4 Dead 2, with that double cap going out in the back as well. So this is essentially going to end this game, I'm fairly sure, just due to the fact that that tank spawn prevents Survivors from making any kind of reasonable bonus on this map. It's one of the 2 potential spawns possible here, with the other one being behind the wall. Looks as though Team Aquilax weren't 100% aware of that, but my team scrimmed the living shit out of this map, and we had that happen to us more than once, where that tank unfortunately can spawn there without being blocked. So
I have definitely seen that before. It's insane. It was a goalie thing. I'm at a loss of words.
Competitive Left 4 Dead 2 never ceases to surprise anyone, and at this point, I don't think we can even be disappointed in the game just because of how familiar we are with it. So that was an instance of complete Left 4 Dead 2-ism right there at the end. And that was happening in scrims, and the question I guess was, okay, this is one of the 2 spawns possible for the last tank on the map. Because they banned the one at the safe room, essentially the spawn gets moved to the same point every time for the first tank. The second tank still does that, and it's one of those spawns that would be probably really exciting and interesting to fight in campaign, not so much in competitive versus, because now, even if Team Mix were to make it straight to the edge of that dock, they're going to have a 6k HP tank spawning in their face with probably just about 20 yards of distance between them and the place they're trying to get to.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult day for Team Mix. I definitely agree with that. And we're live with a 2-2 coming out of the safe room. Right there, Rochelle carefully baiting the hits right there.
Yeah, and iPad being a little bit concerned about that tank spawn as well, just to see it right here. But Team Mix are going to be pushing their way into this 2-2. They have played a hell of a series, and unfortunately for them, they're going to take a lot of damage on that first hit, and I think this game is just a little bit out of reach, even notwithstanding the tank spawn, because of the fact they just took, I don't know, close to 100 damage, 80, 81, 82 damage, 83 damage, because I can't count, on that first hit.
Some interesting comment coming out in the special infected chart right there, but that was hot for us memeing everyone, including us right there.
Yeah, and I did take the chance to message iPad, who is one of the players in the game, but also a tournament administrator, to say that is one of 2 static spawns possible on that tank, and obviously non-ideal for any survivor team there, as is this hit going in. Beautiful double charge with the spit in front. That is exactly what you want to see from Team Aquilax, and they have done a great job pulling off one of the more impressive comebacks, I would say, that I've seen in a bit, especially the way that they, after getting wiped on map 1, you know, to make it into the safe room with 3 survivors, that's what they needed to do, and then they needed to do exactly what they did on map 2, 3, and 4 so far to bring this game back under control. I'm not quite ready to call it yet because we can still see some memery go on, but that is a beautiful rolling tri-cap landing with a double boom. Hunter and Jockey landing near enough at the same time, with the smoker pull being just a little bit delayed as the survivors push through this smoker smoke. Putty, I think Team Mix can really surprise some people in this tournament going forward.
Yes, I do believe Team Mix they're very good the way how they played it on both their home and away server. They're very resilient, and they've been taking hits. And we do see a charge landing onto Ellis right there in spit, and a Hunter in Jockey did get cleared. But it was a lot of damage on the Ellis right there. It would force him to pop his set of pills. And the survivors are going to push forward to another ladder right there. That is I do believe that one that the survivors are walking into is the main ladder, because you can get stuck on top of it even when you're not fast climbing.
That is 100% correct, as is the fact that Team Mix are still technically alive right here. That's going to be a beautiful charge, though, landing from Caution, dropping down onto the raised part of the wall to take Rochelle all the way back. Spit not able to go down on that, of course, but Team Mix, they have 1 set of pills that they have from the safe room. They have 2 other sets in front of them, but they also have a lot of ground to cover and a tank to kill in order to make it even to that final dock where that other tank may be waiting for them. Rochelle looking to get the M2 on this jockey, managing to find it and getting the shutdown here. It's going to be a 100 spitter and a boomer for the rest of the hit from Team Aquilax going in here right now. Boomer's not going to land. Hunter does get blown out of the sky, and that spit doesn't land either. But Putty, they are approaching this tank and his hittables.
Yep, they are, and they do have 4 fast survivors and 1 more set of pulls left, and I do believe they can kill the people hyping. Oh, the tank is conveying right there, being able to secure it. Oh, that was almost the best punch right there, and secure an end cap and a hittable.
Are they just going? They're just going.
They're just holding W.
Team Mix are like, you know what, DDA, we don't want to play this tank. We're going to have this log roll directly over us, and then off of the bridge, it would seem. That's going to be an end cap going out onto Coach as well. But now, this is going to make that second tank a non-issue. Charger landing there into the back onto Rochelle. Nick, the last survivor up, getting cornered by the tank at the end of that bridge. And we have the GGs going out from Team Aquilax, and just a solitary G from the entire Team Mix there. iPad saying they be doubting fam in the chat, and with good reason, I will say, because the cumulative total for this is going to be just about a 500-point difference, but an important 500-point difference for Team Aquilax there, surviving the upset threat from Team Mix in round 1 in what has easily been one of the 2 best games, I would say, that I've seen from this tournament so far. Putty, what are your thoughts?
I think that was beautifully played by both of the teams, and it was a really fun match to cast. And it was beautifully played by both of the teams, where the momentum was constantly shifting, even like on their home and away servers. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed casting.
That was something that we're going to hope to see later in the tournament as well, in terms of these really, really close home and away matches. As we mentioned, in the first week, there are about 19 ranking spots of difference between the teams, and that is done so that then the tournament can really take shape with the teams that are going to be contending for the playoffs, the teams that are losing. We'll see exactly what happens, but that was a high-quality game happening very early on Haunted Forest, which of course always gives us room for high-quality gameplay depending on where you want your tank to spawn. Want to give a big shout out here to the admins that we just saw in that game as well. Caution and iPat being your tournament administrators, all the tournament moderators as well, streamers, casters, server hosts, and specifically to Vanille for staying up late / being up early to stream this game, and Putty for joining me here for what was your first competitive Left 4 Dead 2 cast. Any closing thoughts before we sign this off?
You pretty much said it all, man. It's a beautiful match. It's a good match, and I would really like to thank Caution and iPad for hosting this tournament. And it's a great opportunity, and I look forward to seeing both teams, Aquilax and Team Mix, in later stages of this tournament. They're great teams.
I do as well, and I'm telling you right there are a bunch of teams in this tournament from a few different regions that are taking a look at Team Mix and saying, please do not match us with them early, because Team Mix could do some major damage in this tournament. So, for the entire Left 4 Dead 2 community involved with the Quarantine Cup, we thank you for watching this match cast, and we will bring you more action from round 1 later today, as far as I know. But first, I require more coffee. Thank you everyone for watching, and we hope to see you soon.